That's too much makeup. That's too many palettes. That's too much money spent on makeup. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to today's meeting of Palette Addicts Anonymous, where I am kind of chewing myself out for buying so many eyeshadow palettes. I did my first installment. I wasn't really intending this to be a repeat video, but I did my first kind of version of this video in the end of 2018, I believe. I'll link it down below if you guys are interested. It's kind of an old video at this point, but I kind of just went through, pulled out all the palettes that I had bought in 2018, and I was like, girl, you've got to slow down. It was kind of my way of keeping myself accountable, saying, hey, you need to slow down. Look at all the stuff you have. Look at, you're not really even using all of it. You haven't really gotten to know all these palettes that well. So I was like, hey, this is your wake-up call. When you want to buy palettes, come back, watch this video. I got a lot of great feedback from you guys as well that were saying, hey, this was really fun to watch. And I kind of did this with myself too, to hold myself accountable and kind of say, hey, you don't need more palettes. And I did that so I would kind of start the new year with a different mindset. I've really been trying so hard to shift my mindset towards my makeup collection this year into shopping my stash a little bit more, kind of not falling into the hype of new products quite as much. I bet you guys have kind of seen that reflected on my channel with all of my Shop My Stash dupe videos. I've been doing so many of those, but they've been so much fun to do, and those are my favorite videos to film now. But today, I thought we'd do a little mid-year palette check-in. When I sat down to film this video, I kind of made a list of all the palettes that I thought that I had bought this year, and I was surprised, you guys. I was pleasantly surprised for the most part. I'm not doing fantastic, but I'm also not doing terrible, so without further ado, let's hop into the damage that I did this year. So before I started filming this portion of the video, I did want to hop back into my video that I filmed at the beginning of this year and figure out how many palettes I actually bought in 2018 to kind of compare where I'm at right now. And I watched my video back and I bought 25 palettes in 2018. Holy moly, that is absolutely crazy. That's like 2 palettes a month. That's too much makeup. That's too many palettes. That's too much money spent on makeup. And I'm happy to report that so far this year, you guys, I'm not headed down that path yet. I'm trying really hard. I know there are a couple palettes that I've kind of earmarked that I do want to buy in the coming months, and maybe I'll mention those towards the end of the video, but right now I want to talk about the palettes that I have bought this year. So I'm going to try to go in chronological order. I'm not 100% sure like when I bought all of these palettes, and then there are 2 palettes that I did receive in PR, so I'll mention those after these ones. So far this year I have only bought 7 palettes, you guys. 7 palettes. That's not great still, but it's so much better than how I was doing last year. At this point last year, I mean, I'm not sure if it was like exactly like lining up like, oh, in July I had bought half of the palettes or a little over half of the palettes, so like 13-14 palettes, but I still feel much better about my purchases this year. I'm thinking about them so much more, and I just feel more confident in the purchases that I'm making. So the first one that I bought this year was the Through My Eyes palette. This one was a collaboration that Colourpop did with I Love Sarah He. This one was something that I deliberated over for so very long, you guys. If you remember, if you are like friends with me on Instagram and you posted a picture of this palette for a good solid 3 months, I would post, oh my god, I love that palette. Oh, I love this color story. Oh, I want this one so bad. Because I just adored the color story. I thought it was absolutely stunning. It wasn't super similar to anything that I had in my collection. I think I even did a video where I tried to dupe it. I'll link that down below if you guys are interested in watching that. It's another older video. But I was like, oh, I don't need this. I have similar colors. And no, I didn't need it. But Colourpop did have like a 30 or 25% off sale, and I finally grabbed this palette, and I am so happy that I did, you guys. This is such a beautiful, unique color story in my collection, and I just love this palette. So this was definitely a more thought out purchase and one that I'm very happy with. This next palette is not my most well thought out purchase. This is probably the only palette I would say that I bought on an impulse this year. It was more of an impulse buy, and that is the Colourpop Misunderstood palette. This one I bought on launch day, and I can't remember if I was like, oh, I'll review it, it'll be great. But I've just kind of decided that I'm no longer going to buy makeup on launch day with the intention of reviewing it, because a lot of bigger channels get PR from these companies, and they have the palettes not months in advance, at least like a week in advance, so they have time to test it out, post the review, and by the time that happens, I'm just getting my palette. So there's already a ton of reviews out there. Not to say that I won't do reviews on an older palette if you guys are interested, but in the long run, it's not the most lucrative way for me to spend my time. Anyways, so let's get into this palette. So at first I bought this palette and I was like, I just wasted like 20 bucks on this palette. I don't like it that much. I don't think the color story is that great. The formula is the same beautiful Colourpop formula, but I wasn't super in love with this color story. I think I like gave it another chance because I was about to film like a haul update, like a little haul review thing. And I really fell in love with this palette again. It's not my favorite palette, but it is a pretty decent palette. I can definitely see myself depotting this one in the future. The next palette that I bought was also one that I deliberated over and kind of resisted for a really long time, and that is the Sweet Talk palette from Colourpop. When they previewed this palette, I was like, I have that palette 20 times over in my collection. It's not something that I need. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care that it has like peachy tones in it, even though I love peachy tones. I'm like, I can dupe that, forget that. Then it was announced that it has 3 different formulas in it. Their original pressed powder shadow formula, the pressed glitters, and a super shock shadow. And then I was like, I am much more interested now. And I waited like a month and a half, maybe even 2 months before I bought this palette. After it launched, I got it on sale once again. And I really do love this palette. I feel like this is my perfect summer palette. This is the summer palette that I've been searching for years, and I definitely do not regret buying this one at all. Is it the most unique thing I've added to my collection? No. But does it bring me joy, and do I really love it? Yes. Alright, these next 4 palettes I actually have bought in the past month or so. Been kind of a busy makeup month for me. So the first one is the Whale Song palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. So this was another one that I deliberated over for quite a while. At the time that this was kind of announced, because they did do a pre-order that took so long. There was the Blue Blood palette, the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette, and I feel like there was another blue-green palette floating around at the time. Oh, the Colourpop Blue Moon palette. They were all floating around and they all had this really beautiful blue-green color story, and I was like, well, I really do want to expand the blues in my collection, and I also really love the greens, so I was really between this one and the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette, but I ultimately decided to go with this one because it's a little bit more affordable, and I just heard better things about this one, about the formula on this one versus the Ace Beauté palette. So I am still kind of testing this palette out, but so far I really do enjoy it. I really do like these tones of blue and green. I feel like they're very unique to my collection. Definitely not something that I already have, so I'm very happy with this purchase so far. Alright you guys, I'm sorry I miscounted. One of my palettes was missing in my stack. I bought 8 palettes this year so far, but that's still not so bad compared to how many I bought last year. So I'm still counting that as an improvement, still counting it as a win. But these last 3 I literally just got in the mail like last week, so I haven't really fully tested them out yet. The first one that I got is the Tribe palette from Juvia's Place. All these couple are going to be from Juvia's Place. And this is, oh my gosh, a gorgeous palette, you guys. I have been back and forth on whether or not I wanted this palette all of 2019. I've really been into greens in 2019, and I don't know, I kept going back and forth like, oh, I really just like those pops of green. I should just buy singles. No, I love the whole thing. Let's buy it. Eventually, Juvia's Place had like a 45% off sale, something absolutely crazy. I think this was like between $10 and $12. I'm like, I'm getting it. It's beautiful. Even if I only am buying it for those beautiful pops of green, I can depot it. It's still a better deal than me buying singles. So I got it, and I used it for the first time today, and you guys, holy moly, I love this palette so far. Granted, I've only tried 2 shades, but I'm very excited to dip into the rest of the shades. I used it to create this look that I have on my eyes right here. There should be a mini tutorial on my Instagram on this look eventually. I have a couple looks to post before I post this one, but follow me on Instagram so you guys don't miss out on it, because I'm so happy with how this look came out, and I love how this palette performed. So I really do love this one. This was also more of a thought out purchase. The next 2 were recommendations from Kelly Gooch, and you guys know that I just absolutely adore her. I think she's so awesome, and I just love her taste in makeup. And the first one is the Deuce palette. This one is one that I've only been deliberating for maybe a month or so. Probably closer to 2 or 3 months about this one. I love the colors in this palette individually. I don't love them together, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this as a palette or if I'm going to pot it and kind of just keep them as singles in my collection. but these colors individually are absolutely beautiful, and I've seen Kelly Gooch do so many gorgeous looks using this palette with so many beautiful unexpected color combinations. So I was like, you know what, this is on sale for like $10 to $12 again, I'm gonna grab this one too. And then this last one, kind of the same story. It's the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place, another Kelly recommendation. And I am still undecided about this palette, mostly because I haven't put it on my eyes. I haven't really experimented with it too much, but I feel like the looks that she creates with this palette are absolutely stunning, and they really inspire me, but I feel like me staring at these colors just doesn't spark a lot of inspiration. I feel like it might be the orange packaging that's throwing me off. So I'm gonna play with this palette a little bit. Once again, if I don't like these shadows in the palette, I can always depot them and keep them as singles. This was also pretty steeply discounted, so that's kind of why I bought this. Well, I bought this keeping that in mind. Like I said, I was lucky enough to receive 2 palettes in PR this year, which is kind of mind-boggling for me to say. The first one is this Persona Color Theory Eye Kit. They sent this one to me, and this is in the shade Pink. This is such a gorgeous palette, you guys. I am not sure if I would have bought this on my own. Well, I really wanted to, but I don't know if I would have actually taken the plunge and bought it on my own. But this is an amazing little palette. I really do love this palette. It can create a really wide range of looks for only being like, what, 5 shades? And the formula is really fantastic. And it's a good addition to my collection. And then I was also sent the Kaleido Cosmetics Golden Hour palette. This one is, again, a bit of a newer addition to my collection. And it's a very different palette for me. Usually I do not like palettes that are fully shimmer, fully metallic shades, but I have been really enjoying this one for just everyday looks. If you guys aren't keeping up with my Project Pan series, you might not know that my e.l.f. Mad for Matte 2 palette, which is actually right here because I've used it a little bit for this eye look today, is in my Project Pan series, and this is totally full of matte shadows. There's no shimmer in here at all, and I like to add a little bit of metallic something something to my lids on an everyday basis, and I feel like these two are a match made in heaven because they both have some warm tones, some cool tones, and I feel like they just pair really, really well together. So that's gonna wrap this video up, you guys. Overall, I feel like I'm doing better than I was in 2018, but there's still so much room for improvement. I feel like doing those Shop My Stash for Dupe videos with you guys has been so helpful for me. I'm trying to think of some that I've done this year. I did like the Nabla Secret Garden. I did the Jeffree Star Blue Blood palette. I'm blanking on the other ones that I did, but I will leave those all linked down below. If you guys are also an eyeshadow junkie and you're just lusting after those palettes, but you're trying not to buy any, I'll link those down below if you guys are interested because they have been so helpful and so cathartic for me. So I hope they are for you as well. And if you guys are new here, hi, my name is Sydney. I film beauty videos 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Primarily this year about kind of Shop My Stash content, kind of curating my collection, decluttering, all of that, and I've had so much fun doing it. So I hope you guys subscribe and stick around, and that's gonna wrap it up today. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!